Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today is a very exciting day. You'll see the car behind me is a Porsche GT4 Cayman. Today we're going to take this for a drive. I'm very excited. I've already driven this back from the mainland, but that was a very slow M3 traffic horrendous trip home. We didn't get to enjoy the car at all. But it's Sunday morning, 2 days after we bought the car for stock for Riviera, and I'm going to go out and enjoy it. I'm going to go and feel and experience this car and a few of the island's twisties of what we have to offer, and go and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful Porsche Cayman. But yes, here it is. I'll run through the specs and everything later. Without further ado, let's get in the car and go and enjoy it. Right, we are nestled into these beautiful carbon bucket seats. Now, my first impressions when I heard the word carbon bucket seats and the fact that I am mid-40s filled me with dread. The BMW bucket seats, I can pass on them. Comfort for me. Now, there's something about these ones. I actually fit in them perfectly. I am as comfy can be. I didn't fidget on the way home. I didn't adjust the seat on the way home. The guy that owned this car previously must have been a similar height to me, and I am just comfy. That's all I can say. I am just comfortable. Everything about where everything is spot on. So I just wanted to start the video and say carbon buckets are a yes from me. This is the ideal spec. Now, I think they're not less of a car without the seats, but I think if this is a track focused car, you need a seat that's going to hold you in. These seats 100% hold you in place, no problem at all. Anyway, let's get this car going. You will notice it is a manual. The most exciting bit so far is it is a manual transmission. So we're going to select the exhaust button, and we are going to select sport mode. Now the car is warmed up, so I've just driven it from my house to Riviera, but let's go and enjoy it. So I'm going to go and try and find some bit quieter twisties here on the island today, and go and figure out what all the fuss is about on the handling side of the GT4. It does make a superb noise. The engine is right behind you, as you know, mid-engine, it's literally right there, and that lovely flat six whine is really, the volume is incredibly high of it in here. I feel like, being that this is a lightweight car, don't quote me, but I feel like there's not as much sound suppression as there is in your regular S's and GTS models. But certainly in here you can hear everything that's going on. But right, let's go and find some B roads, and we'll catch this up in a sec. So, whilst cruising along in this car, it has exceptional road manners. I was actually quite surprised at how comfortable the suspension is when set in the lower dampening mode. You could quite easily live with this day to day. It's actually very enjoyable to drive. The manual gearbox is beautiful, we'll talk about that in a minute. But just cruising around at the speed limit, just taking in the scenery, this is a lovely car. It is track focused, but the one thing Porsche do very well is they enable a car to be able to switch personalities really easily. You can be 1 minute on a race circuit with no traction control, sport mode, exhaust on, with the steering and everything all turned up to the max. And then the next minute you can be what I'm doing now, which is literally just pottering along at the speed limit, taking in the views. And that for me gives you so much more from a car. The package is just increased. Rev matching on the down change as well. Oh, so fantastic. So yeah, I just am really impressed with the way the car is day to day. Now I had a 911 GTS 991 generation 1, and that was as raw a 911 as I could afford. It was a naturally aspirated 3.8 PDK. Now I think that car suited having the PDK really, really well, and the PDK gearbox is fantastic. But in the GT4 with the Club Sport spec package and the bucket seats, the manual kind of just feels right in this car, and it's such a lovely gearbox that I just want to change gear. I want to drive it. I don't know if that, it's hard to convey over camera, but you just want to have a manual in this car. I think I'd be a little bit bored if I was in a PDK version of this car. Now, whether that makes you a faster boy out on the race circuit or whatever, I still think for driver engagement, you cannot beat having a manual transmission. Now, in a world full of DSG, DCT, PDK, all the gearboxes out there that are absolutely fantastic gearboxes that are literally blip on those paddles and they're changing for you, there's something quite nice about a modern car built around a manual transmission, and I think that's what Porsche have done with the GT4. The manual transmission was supposed to be engaging and add that little bit more flavour to driving this car. Now, yeah, every day maybe the clutch has become annoying on your daily commute. This isn't a commuter car, is it? But what I am saying is, on just a quick sort of nipping out here now, just cruising along at the speed limit, the gearbox is lovely. Like, genuinely, I'm kind of sold over the idea of having a PDK version of this car purely from a few miles sat in this manual. It just is lovely. Yeah, it's just a beautiful car. This car as well, it's equipped with a lot of extra features over the standard car. Things like extended leather dashboard with yellow stitching, obviously the carbon interior package, carbon centre console, the crest here on the centre console, the satin black wheels. The list is huge, but that just adds to the car. And for me, it's a beautiful place to be sat in with all the extended leather. And where you're sat, all you can see is nice stitching throughout the cockpit, as well as everything being covered in leather, carbon fibre or suede. There is no plastic in this car. There's no visual plastic. Everything is coated in some sort of high-end material. It does make it a very nice place to be. Looking out the rearview mirror, all you can see is the wing. That's right through the middle. Again, for me, as a car guy, that's a positive. I want to see that wing. I'm happy with that view, 100%. But let's talk about the engine. The engine in this car is the 3.8, 380 horsepower, naturally aspirated, as found also in the 911. This engine is breathtakingly quick. It makes a beautiful sound, and the torque delivery is really early on, despite revving out to over 8,000 RPM. The torque is still exactly where you'd expect it to be. Now, I guess the fact that the torque is right in this car might be because the last time I drove this engine was in a 911, and this obviously is lighter by quite a few kilos, and I guess that's what gives it that bit more urgency down low end. My GTS was a 3.8 and it didn't have the urgency that this car has, yet my 911 had more power. So work that one out. It must be a power to weight ratio thing rather than anything else. But here we are, just going to go through a little bit of national speed limit and see what we find about this car on the corners. I hope you can hear that noise over the camera. That is one hell of a sound. You start approaching 7,000 RPM and it is screaming. It is egging you to go on. Car is in sport mode. The exhaust valves are indeed open. I wouldn't have it any other way whilst experiencing a car like this, especially when I just want to hear it. I want to experience the full volume of this car and what it has to offer. Back into the village of Godshill now, so it's going to potter along at 30, and then I'm going to exit my way out to West White, out to our military road. Never known a car handle quite like this. I thought my 911 was good. This thing is another level. Really is a fantastic bit of kit. Oh, what a thing. I'm going to talk about balance real quick. So, having lived with a 911 GTS for a year or so, I was always a little bit nervous of that car. Even though it was a Carrera 4, I felt that you still had to really respect it, because the rear end was going to overtake you at some point on one corner. Never really knew when that was geared. It had a lot of grip. It had uber amounts of grip, but you could just tell that at some point it was gonna bite you, as with all 911s. I'm not feeling that in the Cayman. The Cayman with the engine in the middle, dare I say it, and it is a conversation that's been said a lot, it is actually a more balanced feeling car. It actually is. This just feels like that it doesn't have limits. Obviously I'm not going to find those on the road, and you will find those on the racetrack, but certainly from just having a little squirt around some B roads, it feels like a car that you're going to have to really hit hard to explore wherever those limits would be. Now with a 911 you could quite happily upset it on a greasy road. I could, and I had, and I enjoyed that car a lot, and I became quite familiar with its quirks. But it took quite a few weeks to really nestle into the sweet spot for that car on the handling. Whereas this, I feel like in 7 minutes I've already felt at home in it. Now I think some of that may be because of my seating position in this car. I had comfort seats in my GTS, and although 19-way adjustable and you're sat very low, this bucket seat makes you feel very confident. Now that has to be said for all sort of race cars. If you're in a bucket seat you feel confident, you're lower down, your centre of gravity is lower down, your head feels safer. Essentially, you know, that's how it feels. But what I would say, this car does feel overall way more balanced than a 911. Which then begs the question, would I have one of these over a 911? I don't know. I like that option of being able to put a child in the back if we are going to go out in the car. I know they're not overly comfortable, but we can all get there. With a GT4 or a Cayman or a Boxster, you are limited to, it's just two of you going out, so the flexibility is gone. So yeah, that does pose a question in my head, but it does definitely drive more how I prefer a car to drive from the off. But I still wouldn't discount a 911. I'm not sold on one or the other, if I'm honest. I think they're both fantastic. It just propels you up the road, and it really does hold you in your seat. Naturally aspirated, high revving engines, they are just the one for me. As much as the new turbocharged stuff is lovely, there's nothing like the rawness being connected to that manual transmission with that engine right behind you, that noise, that thrill, that acceleration. For me, a natural aspirated GT car does hit home into my heart very, very well. Well, it's just a fantastic bit of kit. Right, we're almost at the military road, so give us a second. We'll go and enjoy this car a little bit more before we take it back to the showroom. off there. Very nice. Oh, this car, my God. The more I drive it, the more I wish I could own one of these, and you know, one day that might happen again. Laura and I went out in the car very briefly the other day, and I've got a bit of a dream. I would like to do a big Euro drive a couple of times. I've got a few destinations I'd like to do, and just with my wife and myself. And this car, she sat in it and she was like, this is comfy. If she's one over on bucket seats and in the comfort, we're doing okay. This thing is just immense. Yeah, the more I drive it, the more I'm thinking. And there's another thing to consider, okay? GT cars are not cheap, but if you can afford one, you are likely to retain a lot of value. This car, new, was £81,000 in 2016, not specced. With the spec, this was about 94,000 quid. That's retail, depending on whether the dealer gave any deals or discounts, we don't know. But what I will say is, it's still worth today retail at £70,000 10 years later. So I can't see these cars going any lower in value really than currently what they are. In a world full of electronically powered vehicles and softer vehicles, I can't see these losing any more money. I think they're a sound investment, and that's kind of the important bit, that you want to know your money is safe. That cannot be said for a 3-litre turbo 4S new one. That can't be said. That's not going to hold the money. More comfortable car, yes. We've just got some cyclists, and they're two-stepping. They're like taking up the full roads, and I can't see around them. Love a cyclist, I do. I am a cyclist sometimes, so you know, I can't give them hassle. Here we have a break in the road. We are going to have to go first gear because we're doing 10 miles an hour. When this thing is on it, it just does nothing but encourage you to stay that way. Nice little S road dip there. That gearbox, I don't want any more autos in my life. I'm sold. What a sound. If there was a car to take to the south of France this weekend, it would be this. We're creeping closer to that rev limit. Goodness me. I'm sold. There's nothing more to be said. This is absolutely perfect as a car. This is what a car should be. Manual transmission, good noise, perfect power delivery, amazing handling, and it's under 70 grand. Like, that is actually mind-boggling. That is a lot of car. And I know you've only got 2 of you going out in this car. Listen, I understand that. Kind of holds me back as well, but from an actual driver's perspective, a driver's point of view, this thing is perfect, especially for the budget. Given a new GT3 911 is, you know, north of 200,000, and a used one, a nice used one, is still hovering around the 130, 140s, this does offer GT Porsche quality at almost half the price. That for me is a win in itself. It really, really is. my day has been made. What a fantastic Sunday I am having. Bit of traffic now, so we're just going to take in the scenery of the Isle of Wight's Military Road. Why not? Because what a car to be doing it in. We can just rev match just because we can. Turned off now. So much fun. How is this under £70,000? This feels so much more. Like I know, listen, £70,000 is a massive amount of money, but when you consider a new RS3 with options is £65,000. So yeah, I don't think it's a lot of money for what you're getting. Pure driver's car. That is what you're getting. It's the most purest form of a car I've driven in a very long time. It is mind-blowing. Right guys, well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this today. It's now time to take it back to the showroom. But what a cool car this is. One last pull. What a noise. What a day out. But listen guys, this car is available at Riviera Sportsman Prestige. It is a stunning example of just 17,000 miles, a full Porsche service history, and clearly a very, very, very well loved example with its previous people that have had this car. It really is lovely. But indeed, this video is now coming to an end. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If we get more weird and wonderful cars, we will indeed get them back on the channel, because we are all car guys at the end of the day. That is what we are. I'm going to carry on enjoying this back to Newport. But thank you for watching, and I will indeed see you guys on the next one. See you soon.